Yes, students, welcome to English Literature. We start with the new lesson, The New House. It's a chapter that tells about a small boy who's concerned and worries about a new place where he has come to stay. His father works in army, and as he gets a transfer, he comes to a new place. He has got all his memories of his old house. He has got few worries. What are his worries? He is an exploring child, looking for new things. And he's trying to tell us his worries, whether he has got some friends there, whether the place where he's going he will be as beautiful as where he has been. He's worrying whether the how what could be the new friends, a situation where he would be able to face or not, how could be the how new house, and all these worries. He is also has got a lot of surprises and wonders. Come, children, let's read this lesson of the new house. Let's read a story about a 9-year-old boy called Bruno who had to leave his house in Berlin and move to a new house. New house along with his parents and 12-year-old sister, Greta, and their house help Maria. Bruno's father was a commander in chief army during World War II, had been given a transfer order, and so the family moved to a new house. When he first saw their new house, Bruno's eyes opened wide, his mouth made the shape of an O, and his arms started out at his sides. Everything about it seems to be an exact opposite of their old home, and he couldn't believe that they were really going to live here. In comparison to his old house and new house, for him it was a wonder. And further, as he lines reads out, we will find that what made him to have an awesome appeal, what made him to wonder with mouth wide open. That is a house is so huge. And house is situated in an isolated place. We further go to further read, we'll see that why it had a lot of wonders. The House of Berlin had stood on a quiet street, and alongside it were a handful of other big houses like his own. It was always nice to look at them because they were almost the same as his house, but not quite. Other boys lived in them who he played with or stayed clear of. So what a reason for his wonder, his underlines, stood on a quiet. I would like to just wait. Yes, boys. Why it made a lot of wonder for him because quite street was alongside and a handful of other big buildings like his own. All looked alike, and more wonder that made there were few boys playing and steered clear, and they kept him avoided. They did not include him, and he was wondering whether they were really friends, or are they were in trouble to meet a new friend. In other words, a new friend coming into your class, coming to a locality is sometimes rarely accepted. It takes some time. But being a small child, he never knew that these things happened. He thought that these are the same friends as those friends what he had in his old place. Again, further we read on. The house, however, stood all on its own in an empty, desolate. Desolate means alone. There were no other house anywhere to be seen, which meant there would be no other families around and no other boys to play with. His great concern was he had no boys to play with, neither friends nor trouble. Again, he tells that it was something very nice that not having friends. It's not. He tells that it is nice because he doesn't want to be troubled. He wanted to explore things by himself. The house in Berlin was enormous. Enormous means very huge. And even though I had lived there for 9 years, he was still able to find carnies that he hadn't fully finished exploring it. Nooks and corners, that is, every nook and corner. There were even all rooms, such as father's office, which was out of bounds at all times and no exceptions, that he had barely been at. However, the new house had only 3 floors. A top floor where all 3 bedrooms were and only one bathroom. A ground floor with a kitchen. And he is trying to explain what is the condition of the house is. The dining room and a new office for father, which he presumed had the same restrictions as the old one. Father was a commander in chief. Therefore, he had discipline. He never allowed his family members to the office. So yeah, maybe he was never went to his father's room. Maybe a clearly restricted area. He thought that here also would be same. That he could never explore father's office. All around the house in Berlin were other streets of large houses, and when you walked towards the center of town, there were always people trolling along and stopping to chat with each other or rushing around and staying. They had no time to stop. Not today, not when they had 101 thing to do. There were shops with bright toast fronts and fruit and vegetable stalls and big straws piled high and cabbage, carrots, cauliflower and corn. Sometimes he liked the stand in front of many things. He further explains and narrates what is the condition of the street there. He tells people were so friendly. They were talking each other. Even though they had plenty of works to do, they still had time to talk to each other. They were loving, friendly. And that was something wonder for him. And these people had plenty of work, and they should have been busy with their own work. But he noticed that they were all friendly. It's just opposite to his nature. His father, being a commander in chief of an army, might have brought as child in high discipline, kept him away from all his friends. His world was his house. When he came to a new place, he could find that that atmosphere is something very different, very friendly, very amiable, and it's something very scintillating. And he found it very interesting, very surprising. And he saw one more things. He even walked through the streets, the vendors and the vegetables and everything was something very much astonishing. So kindly look into these chapters and go through this chapter once again. And we end this lesson, today's lesson. Thank you and take care, stay blessed, and God bless us all.